Awesome. Well, Terrance, dude, thank you so much for being here. You're a busy man. I know you're knocking people out and you got crazy fights going on. So I really appreciate the time taking it to be here with me today, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. The pleasure's all mine, man.
And when I want to do this episode, you could always go with the same old questions, right? About fighting and your life. What drew me to you is you just seem like a really good human. Like you've got yourself in the ring and this tenacious person who's like, you're a problem in there. You present a serious problem for your opponents, but then you're this incredible person outside, you're doing philanthropy. You just carry yourself with a really real demeanor and you seem very genuine. So how do you balance those two things as a professional fighter?
It's just what God called me to do, and I like just giving back, man, because I want to be there for people when they feel like no one's there, because I felt that before, and just like anything can help. So that's why I do the best I can just to use this platform to the best of my abilities.
Do you notice firsthand, like when you do this kind of stuff, when you go and you speak with kids and things like that, do you feel that from them right away? Like, do they come up to you after and they're like, yo, Terrance, like this really hits home with me. Thank you so much for being here. Do you get that one-on-one with them?
Yes, and I talk to all the fans as much as I can after, like the youth and everyone, give them a follow, anything to make these kids feel better and feel loved. I'm all about that.
And you said that was because you didn't feel that when you were
Yeah,
younger.
yeah.
What would like talk to me about that a little?
It's just cause like kids aren't the brightest, so like what I was seeing is different than what everything was feeding off. Like I didn't understand the sacrifice my mom was making. To me, it was just she was just leaving me at my grandma's house.
Right. It's hard to get
But
that perspective when we're kids, huh?
we're kids. It's because they don't want to like because we can't understand the stuff they're going through anyways. So now that I'm older, like I really just like this is why I work so hard for it, because like my mom made so many sacrifices for us to have a better life. So I refuse not to give this life 110% to be better.
It's incredible, man. It it's crazy. I think about like my parents had me when, my mom had me when she was 22. I think your mom had you when she was 16, right?
Correct.
And I'm 33 now and I don't have kids. If I had, like, I think about having multiple kids right now, and it blows my mind that my parents were able to sideline their life to handle that, to raise a child, to be there for someone else, put someone else first. When, like, even at 33, I feel like being selfish. Do you talk to your mom about that now?
Uh, it's nothing we haven't already talked about. So like, we talked about everything. That's like one thing we do as a family. We always talk about the past because it helps you heal, man. And once I got through that, I feel like my life is a lot better. Like once I communicated to my mom as an adult, that's all it really takes to heal. We both put our pride aside and just tell them what really went down. And I probably had that talk to her probably when I was like 15, able to handle it. Now it doesn't bother me at all.
So what motivates you when you're in there?
Just all the sacrifices people made for me. It makes me want to go out there and die for them, and show them that like I'm fearless. Like I refuse to be scared when I'm out there. I'm ready to put everything on the line because I know like I got an army with me when I'm going to war. So
Yeah, maybe you can unpack just for the guests that aren't entirely familiar with the story, a little bit of what happened on that night when you had the overdose. You're the only person I've ever talked to in my life that's died, and let alone twice. And you're still here with us today. Can you walk me through like that experience and maybe some of the things that have stuck with you from that night that push you when you're in the gym, when you're training, when you're getting ready, the mental preparation?
I just know like God had like something special in mind for me. So I knew I just couldn't give up. I knew I just had to keep picking away until we got to the gold, man, or to the diamond. Um, yeah, like you said, you can't. The pressure has to be put on. And once I saw I died twice, I knew like I owed my family so much because I put them through hell. So I'm trying to bring them heaven now, and that's just been my main motivation after that night, just to right those wrongs.
Can you recall anything from that moment near death?
Just like I was just part of God. Like I feel like I was just seeing through his eyes at heaven.
Like what? I mean, I know I'm asking you, one, to go into the past, but two, to like really reflect on this cerebral feeling. But in that moment, I would imagine like someone goes through something like that, there's no recollection, right? Like you have no memory of that moment, but there was for you. You're saying like there were feelings that you can associate with that night.
Yeah.
And what did that alignment feel like?
It was just peaceful. I was just relaxed.
That's crazy. And so you come out of that, and what, like, obviously a lot shifts, right? When these kind of things happen, we go through trauma, and it can somewhat put us in our place and give us new clarity on like the life around us, and gives us appreciation for the things that maybe we weren't really appreciating that we had in our life. At that point, you hit a fork in the road, right? And so many people decide to or maybe don't decide, but they get stuck in the negative, and they get stuck where they are. To do what you did is admirable. How do you choose that you're going to like take your life back in your control, let alone go to the places that you are, and then end up in the UFC destined for success?
It was all credit to God, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like if it wasn't for God, I don't think I would be here today. And then he just helped me push through so many things, and he helped me forgive so many people that I needed to. And it made me a stronger man today. Cause I had to realize like I was seeking the wrong acceptance, from my friends and my peers. And which I should have been looking for is my family, who's been there since day one, searching for the wrong love when it's already always been there.
When you say searching for the wrong love, so are you talking kind of about finding maybe love and community outside of your family, in friends and social circles, and doing things to be accepted by your peers, versus realizing that like at home you already have everything you needed?
Exactly.
How do we teach people to do that?
It's just the media makes us want to be cool for our friends, make us want to be the popular person. When at the end of the day, people realize that no one even gives a fuck anymore once you're grown up. Like no one cares what you're doing.
Isn't that weird?
No one's judging you. No one's saying nothing. You can live any kind of life you want, and people be so scared to live that life growing up because of the media making everything seem cool or not cool. When everyone should just love each other and let people live
Man.
like they want to live.
How do we get like Terrance for president, dude? I mean, for real though, why is that so hard to teach? Like, I don't understand that. It seems that we should all just want to do that naturally, right? Like, get to know people that you don't understand, treat other people better. That's one thing that, like, me personally, and maybe you can speak to this, but one thing that I love about like martial arts is it puts everyone on this like level playing field, where your opinions, your ideas, whatever kind of things that you have, you just have to leave them off the mat, because you're going to get put in your place when you get on the mat. And it's something that like it is a teacher for the rest of life, because it teaches you how to appreciate other people. Did you feel like wrestling and mixed martial arts and all of these things played a big role in you kind of like getting back on that road? Or is this a decision that you had made prior, and then everything was already in your life and you just dove back deeper into that?
I had good goals and stuff, but I just knew I wasn't giving it all I had, And
Why
my
not?
mom said, because I was taking my blessings for granted. I just knew like I was just a little bit different than everyone, so I could like kind of do stuff that I'm not supposed to do and still like perform good. And that's because that comes with pride,
Totally.
think you're better than one, and that's what I love about the sport, because it humbles you and make you realize if you're not putting the work in, the guy that's putting the work in, he's gonna get you.
So you just felt like maybe your athletic ability, it kind of just kept you maybe above everyone that you were training with, and so you could kind of get away with stuff that they couldn't, and you could still perform. You could still be dominant on the mats. You could still out wrestle people. So you weren't up against the challenge of someone also being there with you, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
When did you notice that change?
Probably like after my sophomore year of wrestling.
That's when like the intensity and just the level rose in general.
Yeah, just going into that year, because I just wanted to prove everyone wrong that I'm not like a crackhead, that I can still go win nationals like everyone predicted me to do.
And what did it feel like when you started to do that?
It was wonderful. It just sucks that I had to keep going back to court for the cop situation and the drugs, and I ended up having to drop out of school. And I went to pretty much started wrestling after that. Stopped wrestling and started fighting.
Wait, so I'm not familiar with this part. So what do you mean you had this just like it drew out for a while and you had to stop
Yeah,
training?
I had to keep going back and forth for court while I'm trying to compete at wrestling, and then eventually I just had to just stop completely.
Damn. And so how did you get back in? Like when did you pick that back up?
Wrestling. I quit after like 17 to pursue fighting.
So you get back into wrestling, and at what point did you know, okay, I'm a good wrestler, I'm dominant, I'm athletic, I'm competing with these guys. When did you know that you wanted to pursue mixed martial arts and
Um, I,
ultimately
I
UFC?
always I always wanted to fight, but I wasn't sure about it 100%. But after I died that night, I knew I was supposed to fight. So I just wanted to go back to school, win a national title, because it's easier to get in bigger promotions that way. But like I said, things didn't work out, and I felt like I was trying to get used to help us school win a national title instead of getting in and out like I wanted to.
Yep.
So that's when I quit wrestling and I started fighting in 2017.
Damn. And so you went on, you had like a pretty amazing run in it was a local fight promotion, right? Front Street Fights was a Washington promotion.
That's Idaho, but I used to fight
Right.
at K for yeah.
And something interesting happened there. You amended a loss against Tyrone Henderson in that promotion, right?
No, I beat him and then I fought him again. I snapped my leg like Anderson Silva.
What did that, I mean, what did that feel like? Instantaneous.
It felt like I got tased in the leg. I was like, it felt like I got tased in the leg. I was like, oh, that can't be good.
And obviously, instantaneously, the fight was over.
No, I took him down with a double leg.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe fearless doesn't really describe you. It's something else. I mean, that's insane.
I was just thinking this. If I can get a finish on a broken leg, I get signed directly to the UFC.
And so what happened?
The ref saw at the like once I took him down, he kind of got back up, and I couldn't keep my balance, so I had to get under the guy's leg under his crotch, and I had to tell the ref my leg was broken.
While you're underneath?
Yeah, trying to get on there, I was like, "Oh, my leg's broke."
What did he say?
Oh, they stopped the fight.
Damn. Was there part of you obviously you want to keep going there, right?
Always.
So in your last fight, I went back, I obviously watched it live. I think there's like two fighters in the UFC whose stock goes up on a loss. It's like you and Nate Diaz. Like I watched that fight, and after that fight, I wanted to watch your next fight more than I wanted to watch that fight, because I just felt like there was like unfinished business. I mean, obviously it didn't go your way in the end, but dude, I don't know. You look like a fucking problem in there. Like it was insane. You threw those knees like out of nowhere. I mean, they almost looked like you were just going to switch your stance. And then a knee comes up. You can see in Drew Dober's eyes, like he's obviously not even looking down like you're about to throw it. You throw the same thing again to knock him down the second time. Do you train that kind of stuff? Like, is that something that you work on kind of all the time? Is that something you had special for that fight? Because that's crazy athleticism.
Yeah, we trained that on Monday.
I just, watching it live, even I'm like, what just happened? Because it just was so fast, it was so quick, it was hidden so well. I thought you were going to throw a jab, and then your knee just comes up out of nowhere. Same speed, same power, same everything. Did you come up with that, or your coaches come up with that?
Well, they knew I could do it. They should try it out, and then we mastered in like a few days, and I was like, all right, I'm about to hit this week.
Well, I mean, hit it indeed. You did. When that happens, as someone who does not do this professionally, right? Like, I can only imagine your adrenaline and your excitement goes through the roof. instantaneously. What did it feel like for you when you connected on that first one?
It grazed him, but I was like, ooh, he didn't like it though, even though it grazed him. And then I was like, oh, he's off balance. And I have like really good balance because wrestling. So, you know, they had my leg. It's like I'm standing on two. So I cracked him to the cage. I saw his whole face thing in the cage. And then I did a check hook to an uppercut. And I saw it just fold him.
Yeah. I mean, what did you learn in that fight? What was your biggest takeaway there?
Just if I have a person rocked, just start picking my shots and slow down.
Not to get aggressive and rush in like that. But at the same time, what if it didn't go that way? You know, like how close were you? You'll never know, you know?
In the ref was pretty ass. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think
Really?
I'll ever have that Keith Peterson ref me again, to be honest.
So you think that there was a moment in there when he should have stopped it?
You remember when like he decided to give me my mouth guard at that
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
like
that
a
was so
vicious
weird,
kick
dude.
to his face? That
Yeah,
was terrible, bro. That was the worst thing I ever seen in my life. I had to calm down because you guys know I like to be respectful, but I
fair.
almost lost my cool right there. I was like, bro, I had him dead to right there. He made me miss out on 5 free punches. Drew Dober was so rocked right there. And he wanted to not only give me the mouth guard way later, but walk me all the way to the end of the cage.
When
Giving
so
Drew
when that
Dober so much
happened,
time to recover.
I was actually really confused. I thought there
I
was
was
like an eye
confused
poke
too. I was
or
like, what?
something.
Yeah. I was like, what the heck?
You never I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched every single UFC fight ever, but watched a hell of a lot of them. I've never seen them open the cage door. So when he went over and opened the door, I was like, what I figured they were bringing in medical staff that one of you guys got eye poke, and then they put the mouth guard, and I was like, that's kind of weird. Usually they like wait till the end of the round or whatever. Like what did you want to say? How about that? What did you want to say?
I was like, dude, I was about to be like, what are you doing, you idiot? You're letting him recover.
Do you
Because right there,
feel
I had like 5 free shots. So I promise you, I think I could have got the job done if you would just shut my mouth guard right in right there. And then be like, fight.
right? So all right, I mean, let's think about this, right?
And he could have gave it to me when I was on the bottom, on top of him. That was like that. That's the only thing, and that was awful. And then like he never gave me no warning. He just stopped the fight. I was never hurt right there. The knee
Right.
landed on my chest, and I didn't even really feel it. It barely touched me. And then like he landed one or two shots when I was on bottom.
You see, so it seems at this point, like, are you pretty frustrated with that? There's obvious frustration, right, with the loss, but like,
That always
are you
is. But
accepting of this and moving on from
I'm
it?
accepting the defeat, and we're just gonna get the next opponent. And I feel sorry for whoever I have to fight now.
Well, like I said, I mean, I can't wait for that one. It's, you look at like what happened with the crazy night, the overdose, coming back from that. Here's another upset in life, right? Your mindset's obviously tuned up to deal with this kind of shit. It's weird, man. Like sometimes a fighter will come along and it just feels like they're destined to achieve whatever the fuck they want. And I don't know what it is about you. Maybe it's how amazing the story is, but it just feels like one day you're gonna wear the belt. Like I don't know what it is. It just feels that way. But your division is tough as goddamn nails, right? When you look up at the top of the division, the Gaethjes and the Oliveras, what do you think has to evolve from where you are today to have that strap put around your waist and keep it there?
Just to be able to go 25 minutes straight hard. But even then, honestly, I think if I can go 15 minutes hard, I can finish any of those guys.
So you think it's just it sounds like
15 minutes of full power Terrance. I don't think anyone's surviving that.
I mean, I'm not going to make an argument against that. You're dude, the power is something else, man. I mean, when you land even in your UFC debut, like 1-2 down, done. I mean, the power that you possess in your hands it's pretty interesting. Where does that come from? Like, because that's not, you can't train that into someone. That's like an innate thing. And which is interesting because your background is as a wrestler, right? Like you're not striking in wrestling. How do you line up this kind of power against people?
I think it's just technique and I just really know how to like my body mechanics. Like I know how to really like put my whole body and everything to where like I feel every muscle in my body when I'm punching someone.
Yeah, I mean, it looks it looks effortless to some degree, right? Like even those the strike that I was talking about with this knee, like it didn't look like it was the most aggressive, angry knee that anyone's ever thrown, but it was the quickness with which you switched your feet and the way it landed. I didn't expect him to get straight up. I didn't expect him to go down. Drew's a tough guy, right? He's never been put away. The fact that it rocked him like that. How long have you been aligning yourself with that kind of power?
I just always been like a very powerful like human being, like for my weight. Like always with wrestling, like always never the biggest guy, but I always had like incredible strength. It's like something that God blessed me with. That's why I told you like back in the day I used to take the speed and stuff for granted. It made me get lazy sometimes and complacent.
What is your so I'm a trainer by trade and a coach, a skier when I was growing up. So training's been a big part of my life ever since I was a kid. What does your like an average week look like when you're out of camp? What kind of like strength training are you doing?
I'm not doing too much. I'll probably just be training like I'll probably do strength and conditioning probably like twice a week. And then the rest is just one practice a day.
Like pretty mellow, just to be able to recover and stay healthy.
Yeah.
And then when you get in camp, how does that change?
Probably 2 to 3 practices a day.
And what about specifically the strength training?
Probably like 4 days a week.
Okay. But even that, like, so your this power isn't coming from your strength training.
Nah, that's just God given.
Man, I love that. It's interesting as an outsider. Like you would think that the way to do that is to just make the body stronger, like deadlift more weight, squat more weight, press more weight. But that's not where the power is in mixed martial arts.
It's just a lot of core stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably do like out of shape, like 27 pull-ups straight, just out of shape.
You're a beast, man. So who do you like? Who do you want next? What kind of exclamation point do you want to put on the division? And like, how do you want this next year to go? Because you're in an interesting position, right? Obviously on a different road than if you'd won the fight. You win the fight, it goes a different trajectory. You have to obviously take a step back now, an opponent probably, but yeah, I mean, your determination is to the top, no matter how you cut it, doesn't matter. So like, what do you want to see your next year look like? How does this unfold for you?
I want to get 3 more fights, and that'll put me at 5 on the year. And I'd like to go get 3 more wins before the year ends and be top 10 in UFC.
So you're going into 2023, top 10, and then you start picking your way through that to get to the belt.
Yes, sir. I think we know the necessary adjustments, and I can't wait to show you guys that. It's just few mental mistakes there, and utilize my energy better, and we'll get that done next fight.
What kind of things do you want to accomplish outside of the ring that don't have to do with martial arts?
Just help as many youth as I can, and then show people that God's the way. So bring as many people as God as I can as well.
Maybe we can talk about that for a second. So I'm not a very religious person. I didn't grow up in a religious family, and I've always been fascinated by faith because people that are religious, it's a very big staple in their life. My brother is a devout Catholic at this point. What role does that play in your day to day, and how much of this life, where you are, where you were, where you're headed, do you credit to your faith?
I give it 100% credit to God. You know, every day I thank Him. You know, I'm not saying you got to go to church, but definitely develop your own relationship with God if you can. But I try to pray every day because, like I said, I could have been dead or I could have been in jail for years. This whole picture could have been gone like 7 different ways, you know.
So when you think about the night that it all, this is where I get curious. Like the night that all happened, would you would say that it was God that did that to you in the first place?
Of course.
But then in my heart, I'm like, so why? But why would someone all knowing, all powerful do that to somebody?
It's because I had to go through those trials, so I can share that story with you guys today and help people heal. You know, anyone that was having drug problems, anyone that felt alone, my story is here to show them that they're not. So like I had to do this so I can have this story in the UFC. So I can help people out there who are struggling.
So do you feel gratitude towards that experience now at this point in your life?
Yes, because I see it helping people tremendously. And there's nothing feels better than knowing that you help someone and them telling you thank you, man. Like I needed that today.
When you do this outreach, like, is that the message that you try to convey to the kids? Is like, hey, there's always someone there that loves you. There's always someone there that cares about you, and you can get through this. Or like, what kind of messages do you try to provide?
That and making sure these kids know that to never give up on their dream and not to laugh at someone else's dream just because it doesn't look like yours.
If you were an X-Man, which one would you be?
The beast.
Why is that?
Because I'm really smart, that I'm also a beast, like when I gotta be.
And at the day that you wear this belt, when you envision that, what does your life look like? Your family, your friends, the opponents in the road that you've gotten there. Who is Terrance that day compared to today?
Just a guy that people can look up to, a guy that puts family before everything, a guy that shows you that you got to put pleasure before business. I mean, business before pleasure,
Right.
and not fall into temptation, because to be great, it comes with sacrifices.
Do you ever struggle with that at this point in your life? Like those, I would imagine the bigger you get, the more successful you get, the more things you accomplish, the more yes men are going to try to surround themselves around you, and blow you up and promote you and everything. And with that, I would imagine also that the temptations increase, right? Because things become more available to you. The drugs are more available. The parties are bigger. They're at better houses. The cars are faster, all this kind of thing. With your past experience, like, are you worried about that at all? Do you think about that? And how do you plan on staying on the road that you're on, even when those things start to arise in the future? Because they will, right?
Yeah, of course, and that's why I got to stay right with God, man, and because I know things could easily go back to the way they were. That's why I stay humble. That's why I stay in the gym, and that's why you guys see me right back home after my fight, doing the necessary things. I can celebrate later in life, but until my goals are done, there's no time to be having fun.
Well, Terrance, you're an inspiration, man. I I expected you to be humble, but the fact that you're here, taking time out of your day to do this stuff, it proves it. You're a genuine, real person, and like it's been so cool to be able to sit down and chat with you. So
Yeah, but likewise.
megaphone to the world. What's the message that you want to send out? Kids that are listening, enthusiasts of martial arts, anyone out there, your message to them.
Just don't let anyone tell you your dream isn't possible. Um, Make sure you get the right support team around you. If they're not supporting you, feel free to cut them off. Don't read into what people are saying. If they're not doing something that's benefiting you, just cut them off. Simple as that. Don't even reply, and just continue to grind, man. The best revenge is success. So don't be denied.
Well, I was going to end it there, but you said something interesting, and I'd love to hear your piece on this because I'm a big believer in this, of kind of like recognizing things as being negative or not positive for your life and cutting those people off is a really hard thing to do. It's a really hard thing to do, to take friends or people that you perceive as friends and misalign yourself with them on purpose because they're not going the way that you want to go. How do you do that?
You just gotta love them for a distance, and that's what I had to figure out. Like, it's cool to text them, but like, if they ain't willing to make the sacrifices, or they're telling you the stuff you're doing is goofy, then you just gotta make the right adjustment and be willing to cut them off. Like, your future is not worth that negative energy bringing you down. The more leashes you have, the harder it is to walk up that mountain. So we got to shake them off.
Dude, not only is that true, I love that. That is it's funny. I was talking to I had a conversation with my father. He's been sober for 10 years and he had to do this exact thing. He hit this point where like there's people in your life that are always going to try to bring you back to that spot that you were. and you have relationships and love and friendship and stuff that's around that. It's like a system that all supports that same stuff. And letting go of those people is the hardest thing you're going to have to do sometimes, because that's your life. That's your social circle. It's your everything you do day to day, what you eat and breathe. But I love what you said, to love them from a distance. That's not something that I would typically think as a solution. How do you practice that though?
Like I said, I'll FaceTime whatever, but like they say, it's lonely at the top, you know. If there was the case, everyone else would be rich. And like God says, like everyone's not supposed to be taken with me on this journey. So um, everything got to be chosen correctly. Everything has to be looked at like a chess piece. I got to look at, does this belong on the board and does it not?
Well, you're very aware, you're humble, smart, powerful as all hell. I'm really excited watching your next fight, man. And thank you so much for taking the time to do this, Terrance. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. The pleasure's mine, man. And God bless, man. And continue to be doing great things, brother.
Absolutely.